So I want to model using the TI Inspire graphing calculator to run a linear regression on a data set. So we start home screen, new document, say no to drugs, and add a list and spreadsheet. Now in this case, I'm going to say shoe for shoe length and height for my range. Now we're going to put in our data set. 8.9 is an ordered pair that goes with 61, and so on until I put in all the data in this list. Notice I have 12 data points, and there are 12 data points in my list, so I know all my data points are correct. And now I'm going to work my way up to cell C1, double checking my data as I go. Because remember, our regression is only as good as the data that we have in our table. Now, from cell C1, we're actually going to do something in the calculator. And this is how this is different from using Desmos. So, the instructions on the page are, we start with menu, statistics, stat calculation. But this time we're doing a linear regression. We want an equation in y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to choose number 3, linear regression. And here, our x list, our domain, is the shoe. Our y list, the range, is the height. And now we can come down and say, okay. Notice this is our linear regression equation, mx plus b. So as I go and steal my data, I have m is 3.146. So m, 3.146, b, 32.679. Those are values that I'm going to record right here in my document. Now, to write my regression equation, y equals mx plus b, rounding to the nearest hundredth. So y equals, in this case, when I look at this 4, the 6 says raise the score. So I get 3.15 times x. Now for the b, I have plus, it's positive, 32.6. But when I look at that 9 says make the 7 and 8. So that's our regression equation. Y equals 3.15x plus 32.68. Now, the R value, the correlation coefficient, is actually 0.906. So that 6 says make the 0 a 1. So the R value is actually 0.91. Which, if you think about it, if you get a 91 on a test, you probably feel pretty good about that. So now we want to see what this data looks like. So Control Doc, add a data stats page. Here's our domain, shoe size. Here's our range, height. Now, I want to add that regression equation to this graph so I can see what it looks like. So I press menu, analyze, and I want to plot a function. And the name of our function is 3.15x plus 32.68. And that's our regression equation. And if you notice, this is the line that best fits all this data. I can try to draw lines all day long. I'm never going to find a line closer to all these points than what I have plotted right here. That's our linear regression. Take a picture of that, add it to our document. And as I said, if you watch this video, you do have the answers for this question that you can paste right into your document. But the thing that I want to remind you is by using the TI Inspire Graphing Calculator, we have our axes labeled, our X, our Y, and we have our regression equation right here along with all our data points that gives us a really good representation of what's happening in this problem.